Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most iconic American coins, the Lincoln penny from 1971. This 1-cent coin might seem like just another regular penny at first glance, but the reality is that it carries a fascinating history, important details every collector must know, and in some cases it can even be worth far more than its face value. Some special pieces of this coin can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's coin market, and that is exactly what we are going to explore in this video. So if you are holding on to a 1971 Lincoln penny or planning to search your coin jar for one, you must watch this video until the end because we are going to reveal not just the history, but also the varieties, the market trends, and how you can find out if your penny is worth a lot of money. The 1971 Lincoln penny was minted during a time of great change in the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 6 decades by then, first released in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. By 1971, this coin was already a household symbol of American history, patriotism, and everyday commerce. These coins were struck primarily in copper, and each weighs about 3.11 grams. The front of the coin shows the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the word liberty to his left, the motto "In God We Trust" above his head, and the year 1971 stamped clearly to the right. The back side of the coin, which is also important for collectors, features the image of the Lincoln Memorial, with the words United States of America along the top, E Pluribus Unum above the building, and 1 cent at the bottom. But what makes the 1971 penny so special for collectors today is not just its design. It is the different varieties, the mints that struck them, and the potential errors that can make one penny stand out from millions of others. In 1971, pennies were minted at 3 different locations. The Philadelphia Mint struck pennies without a mint mark. The Denver Mint produced pennies marked with a small d below the year, and the San Francisco Mint made pennies marked with an S. Most pennies from this year are still only worth face value in circulated condition, but when you look deeper into the varieties, the proof coins, and the famous errors, that is where real value begins to appear. One of the most famous varieties from 1971 is the double die obverse. This error occurred when the die used to strike the coin was improperly manufactured, causing a doubling effect on the design. If you carefully inspect a 1971 penny and see strong doubling on the inscription such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date itself, you may have found a double die penny. These coins are extremely sought after by collectors. In some cases, depending on the condition, they have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a simple penny in your change and discovering it could pay for a new phone, a vacation, or even more. That is the power of these error coins. Another important thing to mention is the proof coins made in San Francisco in 1971. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, struck with polished dies on special planchets, and they often have a mirror-like finish. The 1971's proof pennies can be found in sets, and while many are common, certain varieties like the 1971's double die obverse in proof condition can be worth a lot of money. High-grade examples certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can command very strong prices in the market. Now let's talk about the market value today. The base value of a 1971 penny in average circulated condition is only 1 cent, but when you move into uncirculated grades, the value climbs higher. A 1971 penny in brilliant uncirculated condition can range from a few dollars up to around $50 depending on the grade and the mint mark. A Denver Mint 1971D penny in mint state 65 red condition can sell between $10 and $25. A Philadelphia penny without a mint mark in the same grade can also bring similar prices. But the real money is in rare errors and high-grade certified coins. A 1971 double die obverse penny has sold in auctions for more than $500, and some of the finest known examples have reached over $1,000. Proof varieties like the 1971's double die in high grade can sell for several $100s as well. The market current value of rare 1971 pennies continues to remain strong because collectors always search for key varieties and high grade examples. While most coins from this year will never be worth more than face value, those lucky enough to find a double die or a gem-proof penny are holding something truly special. The demand for Lincoln cents, especially varieties from the 1970s, remains very high in the coin collecting world. So the big question is, how can you check if your 1971 penny is valuable? First, examine the date, the inscriptions, and the mint mark under magnification. Look carefully for signs of doubling. Check if the coin has a sharp strike, strong luster, and minimal marks. Coins in better condition always bring higher prices. If you think your penny may be an error or proof variety, it is always a good idea to send it to a professional grading company. Collectors trust certified coins, and certification can multiply the value of your coin in the market. To summarize, the 1971 Lincoln penny may look like a small copper coin, but behind it lies a world of history, collector interest, and potential value. From its design honoring Abraham Lincoln, to its multiple mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, to the famous double-die varieties that can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, this coin deserves the attention of every collector. The market value ranges from face value for common circulated examples, all the way up to high amounts for rare errors and proof varieties. So before you spend that 1971 penny in your pocket, take a closer look. It might just be worth a lot more than you think. And if you are serious about collecting, keep your eyes open, because treasures like this are still out there waiting to be found. That brings us to the end of today's deep dive on the 1971 Lincoln penny here on JF Coin. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with other collectors, and subscribe to JF Coin. Today's video is going to be absolutely fascinating because we are diving deep into one of the most interesting and collectible coins of the United States, the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the year 1980. You might think that a 1 cent coin is just a small piece of copper or zinc not worth much, but let me tell you something, these coins can carry history, mystery, and in some cases serious money value in the collector's market. And in today's video we are going to explore the full history of the Lincoln penny, the story behind the 1980 issue, the design, how to identify the special valuable ones, and most importantly the current market value of these coins, which is surprising a lot of collectors right now. So if you have some 1980 pennies in your collection or just lying around in your piggy bank, stay with me till the end because you might be sitting on something much more valuable than you realize. Let's start with the history. The Lincoln cent, often called the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the very first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical person. Before this, coins carried symbolic designs, liberty heads, and allegorical figures, but never the actual face of a president. That changed in 1909 when Victor David Brenner, a skilled engraver and artist, designed the now legendary Lincoln portrait. The obverse of the coin, which means the front side, features Lincoln's side profile facing right. Above his head we see the famous motto "In God We Trust," to the left the word liberty, and on the right side the date. The reverse of the Lincoln penny went through a few major design changes over the years. From 1909 to 1958, the back had the wheat ears design, which gave those coins the nickname wheat pennies. From 1959 onwards, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, which remained in use until 2008. This means that your 1980 Lincoln cent carries the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, which is a classic look known to millions of Americans. Now let us talk specifically about the 1980 issue. The 1980 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 different mints. Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, Denver, which used the D mint mark, and San Francisco, which struck the proof coins with the S mint mark. At that time, the coins were primarily made of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This is important because only 2 years later, in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to copper-plated zinc pennies because the rising price of copper made the old cents too expensive to produce. So the 1980 penny belongs to that classic copper era, making it even more collectible for enthusiasts who love the real copper cents. Now, how many were made? The Philadelphia Mint produced over 7.4 billion coins in 1980. The Denver Mint struck more than 5 billion. And the San Francisco Mint created about 3.5 million proof coins. These numbers are massive, but here is the catch: not all coins survive in great condition, and not all coins are created equal. Small differences in minting, striking errors, and condition can make one penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the right collector. Let's look at the factors that determine the value. First and foremost is the condition, which coin collectors call the grade. A coin that has been in circulation with scratches, wear, and damage might only be worth face value or a few cents. But an uncirculated coin, meaning one that was never used in everyday transactions, can sell for several dollars. And when we go to coins graded as mint state 65, 66, or even higher, the prices can climb into the hundreds. Proof coins, with their mirror-like finish, are also very popular among collectors. Second, mint errors are a huge factor. A coin with a double die error, center strike, die cracks, or other unique features can skyrocket in value. For example, some 1980 pennies with strong double dies on the date or lettering have sold for impressive amounts. Collectors are always hunting for these rare varieties. Third, rarity in top grade. Even though billions were made, only a small percentage survive in pristine condition. So if you have a coin graded MS67 or MS68 by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, it could be worth hundreds of dollars or more. Now let's get to the current market value, the part many of you are waiting for. According to recent market records, a regular 1980 Lincoln cent in average circulated condition is worth about 1 to 2 cents, just a little over face value because of the copper content. But when you move into the uncirculated category, the value rises quickly. Coins in mint state 65 can bring between $5 and $15, and coins graded higher like MS-67 have reached auction prices of several $100s. Proof coins from San Francisco are especially sought after. A proof 1980s penny in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition has sold for over $1,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny, if flawless, can be worth more than $1,000. Now here is something even more shocking. Rare varieties and errors of the 1980 penny are being tracked by collectors with current market values reported as high as $779,342 for extraordinary unique specimens. While such numbers are not common, the fact that they exist shows how powerful the coin market can be when rarity and demand meet. So what should you do if you have some 1980 pennies? First, do not dismiss them as just ordinary change. Take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, mint errors, and sharp details. Check the mint mark. If you see an S-proof coin, handle it carefully. If the coin looks uncirculated with a strong luster, it may be worth sending to a grading service for authentication and official grading. Collectors all around the world are searching for these gems, and the market is strong. Copper pennies are becoming more desirable because the government no longer makes them with such high copper content. That adds another layer of value for people who want real metal coins instead of plated zinc pieces. To sum it all up, the 1980 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of small change. It is a coin filled with history, artistry, and potential hidden value. From its copper composition, its link to Abraham Lincoln's legacy, to its current demand in the market, it is a coin every collector should pay attention to. So check your coin jars, your piggy banks, and those forgotten boxes in the attic. Who knows, maybe you are holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1980 Lincoln penny and want to learn more about coins worth money, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to JF Coin, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover treasures hidden in everyday coins. Thank you so much for watching JF Coin. Hello and welcome back to JF Coin, the channel where we bring you the most exciting stories, history, and hidden secrets of United States coins that could be lying in your pocket right now. Today we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating small treasures in American coinage history, the 1981 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might look like just another regular cent that has been circulating for decades, but believe me, there is so much more behind this coin than meets the eye. The Lincoln cent has been a part of American coinage since 1909 when it was first introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin has become one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. By the time we reach 1981, this penny was already a household name in the United States, found in every cash register, every pocket, and every coin jar. But the 1981 penny has a very special place in the collector's world, and the reason is hidden in both its history and the current market value. Let's first take a deep dive into the year 1981. This was the final full year that the Lincoln cent was struck using 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. The very next year in 1982, the United States Mint transitioned to a much cheaper composition, copper-plated zinc, because of the rising cost of copper. That makes the 1981 pennies the last of an era, the last of the classic heavy copper cents, the kind that have that rich sound when you drop them on a table and that beautiful darker toning that copper develops over time. Collectors love these pre-1982 copper cents not only for nostalgia but also for their intrinsic metal value. Now let's zoom in specifically on the 1981 Lincoln cent. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint in Colorado. In 1981, the Denver Mint produced a huge number of these coins, over 5 billion pieces. So at first, you might think, with so many made, how can it be rare or valuable? The answer lies in the details. Most of these coins were used in daily transactions, they were spent, scratched, damaged, and eventually disappeared from circulation. Finding one today in uncirculated condition, with sharp details and original luster, is not as easy as it sounds. Collectors also look out for varieties and errors in the 1981 penny. Some of the most fascinating errors include double dies, center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins with weak strikes. These error coins can sometimes sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Imagine pulling a penny from your change that is worth hundreds of times more than its face value. That is the thrill of coin collecting. Now let's talk about the market value. The average worn 1981 penny is still worth face value, just 1 cent, but the story changes drastically when you look at condition and grading. A 1981 penny in uncirculated mint state can bring much higher prices. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading companies can easily fetch $10 to $20, and if you move into MS-67 territory, you are looking at hundreds of dollars for a single coin. Some of the finest examples have even crossed the $1,000 mark at auction. And when it comes to rare error examples or coins with unique toning, the prices can skyrocket even further. The current collector market is also influenced by the fact that these are the last copper pennies. As copper value continues to rise, collectors and investors are hoarding these pre-1982 cents. You may have even heard about people weighing pennies to separate the copper ones from the newer zinc ones. This adds another layer of demand for coins like the 1981D. Right now, the estimated market value of certain rare high-grade 1981D pennies can reach astonishing numbers. There are records of these coins being sold for several $100,000 under special circumstances, depending on rarity and grading. Some estimates put unique examples in the market value range of hundreds of thousands, even up to $779,000 and beyond. While these cases are rare, they prove that small cents can carry enormous value in the world of numismatics. So the next time you check your change or open that old coin jar, pay close attention to the date and mint mark. A simple 1981D penny could turn out to be far more than pocket change. It could be history, it could be copper treasure, and in some cases, it could be life-changing money. To sum it all up, the 1981D Lincoln penny is not just a coin. It is the last of the classic copper cents, a product of American history, and a hidden gem for collectors. Whether you are looking at its historical importance, its copper value, or its collector premium, this coin has it all, and that is why collectors all over the world keep their eyes open for this little 1-cent piece. It is a reminder that even the smallest coin in your pocket can hold a story worth telling and a value worth discovering. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history, value, and fascinating details of the 1981D Lincoln penny, make sure you subscribe to JF Coin for more exciting coin stories, price updates, and numismatic adventures. Do not forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends so they can also check their change and maybe discover a hidden fortune. Thank you for watching JF Coin. Today I am bringing you a story about one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in United States history, the 1982 Lincoln penny 1 cent, a coin that millions of people still see every day, but many do not realize it could be worth a lot of money depending on its variety, condition, and rarity. Now let us dive into the history first. The Lincoln penny was introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first circulating coin of the United States to feature the image of a real person. Before that, coins showed symbols like liberty or eagles. The Lincoln design was so popular that it has remained on the penny for over 100 years, making it one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. By the time we reached the year 1982, something very important happened, and this year became a turning point in penny history. For decades, pennies were made mostly of copper, but in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the price of copper began to rise so much that it cost more to make a penny than the penny was actually worth. The U.S. Mint had to take action. In 1982 they changed the composition of the 1-cent coin. Half of the 1982 pennies were struck in traditional copper while the other half were made with a new cheaper material, a zinc core coated with copper. This change created a very unique situation because there are not just one or two types of 1982 pennies, there are actually 7 different varieties. You have the 1982 copper large date 1982. Copper small date 1982, zinc large date 1982, zinc small date, and then you have those from the Denver Mint as well, making it a total of 7 distinct versions of the 1982 penny. This makes the 1982 year one of the most exciting for coin collectors. Now why is this important? Because some of these pennies are extremely valuable, especially if you happen to find a rare transitional error coin. For example, there are known cases where the wrong composition was used. A coin that was supposed to be zinc ended up being struck in copper, or the other way around. These error coins are so rare that collectors are willing to pay thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars for them. Let us talk about values. When it comes to the current coin market, a regular circulated 1982 penny might only be worth 1 cent or maybe a few cents to collectors, but the value skyrockets when you find rare conditions or rare varieties. A 1982 copper penny in uncirculated mint state can be worth several dollars depending on grade, but the real money is in those rare small date copper and small date zinc varieties. For example, a 1982D small date copper penny in mint state has been sold at auction for thousands of dollars. In fact, some have reached values over $10,000, making them truly treasures hiding in your change. Now I know you want to hear about the specific numbers in today's collector market. High quality 1982 Lincoln cents are trading in the range of hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity, and grading. A transitional error penny can easily cross the 5-figure mark. There are reports of coins graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC selling for more than $18,000 at auction. That is a life-changing discovery for something that looks like an ordinary cent. Let us go even deeper into the varieties. Large date and small date pennies of 1982 are a favorite challenge for collectors. The small date is harder to find, especially in copper. The difference between them can be seen in the shape of the numbers, especially the 2 in the date. On the small date it looks more delicate, while on the large date it appears stronger and bolder. Knowing how to identify these varieties can make the difference between having a 1-cent coin or holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. Another detail that makes 1982 pennies exciting is weight. Since copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams and zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams, you can actually use a simple digital Scale to check the composition. If you have a 1982 penny and it weighs more than 3 grams, you likely have a copper version. If it weighs closer to 2.5 grams, then it is zinc. But if you find one that does not match either weight perfectly, that could mean you have an unusual error coin, which could be very valuable. Now let us talk about current market demand. Coin collectors across the United States and around the world are searching for these 1982 varieties. Auction houses report steady interest and prices are climbing steadily in 2024 and 2025. Rare examples in top grade can fetch anywhere between $779 to over $3,440 for collectors, depending on their rarity. Some unique transitional errors have been valued at more than $77,934 in the high end of the market. This is why the 1982 penny has become a hot subject among coin experts and treasure hunters alike. So what does this mean for you? It means that every single 1982 penny you come across deserves a second look. Do not just spend it in the store. Put it under a magnifying glass. Check the date, study the number, style, and weigh it carefully. You could be sitting on a tiny copper or zinc disc that is worth more than an ounce of silver or even a bar of gold. The 1982 penny is a perfect example of why coin collecting is not just a hobby but a real adventure. A small everyday coin can carry history, mystery, and hidden value. It connects us to a moment in the past when the US Mint had to make a big change, and now that change is rewarding collectors around the world. So friends, if you want to start your own treasure hunt, look closely at your pocket change. Search your old jars of coins. Your parents or grandparents may have stashed away pennies from the early 1980s without realizing their importance. Who knows, the next valuable penny could be waiting right in your house. That is the magic of coins. Every coin has a story, every penny has a history, and the 1982 Lincoln penny 1 cent is a story of transition, rarity, and potential fortune. This was today's deep dive into one of America's most famous and surprising cents. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe to JF Coin. Welcome back to JF Coin, the channel where we unlock the secrets, rare coins, hidden treasures, and the surprising stories behind America's most collected cents. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins in modern numismatics, the Lincoln penny 1 cent coin from 1994 with the Denver Mint mark, also known as the 1994D. Many people see this coin in their pocket change every single day without realizing that in certain cases it could be worth far more than a single cent. Some rare examples and error strikes. This coin have been valued at hundreds, thousands, and in extremely rare circumstances, even more than you could ever imagine. That is exactly what we are going to explore in this episode. The history, the details, the minting story, and of course the current value and market potential, the 1994D Lincoln penny. So stay tuned, because by the end this video you may find yourself searching your coin jar with a brand new set of eyes. Let's start with the background. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the very first circulating United States coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. Over the decades the Lincoln penny has seen several design changes, but the obverse portrait Lincoln has remained one of the most iconic and beloved images in all American coinage, now focusing on the year 1994. By this time the Lincoln cent was already in its memorial reverse phase. From 1959 until 2008 the reverse design featured the Lincoln Memorial, a small but detailed image of the famous Washington, D.C. monument. If you look closely at this design with a magnifying glass, you can even see the tiny statue Lincoln inside the memorial itself, an amazing piece of micro-engraving that makes the coin so much more interesting to collectors. The 1994D was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark placed under the date on the obverse side of the coin. Denver produced hundreds millions of these pennies in 1994, so in ordinary circulation they are very common. However, as all coin collectors know, the devil is in the details. Small differences, minting errors, variations in strike, and the grade of preservation can turn an ordinary 1 cent piece into a highly valuable collectible item. Let's talk about the composition. By 1994, Lincoln cents were no longer made of solid copper. Instead, since 1982, they have been made of copper-plated zinc core. This means the coin is about 97.5% zinc with a thin coating of 2.5% copper. These coins weigh about 2.5 grams and measure 19 millimeters in diameter. While they look like traditional copper cents, the inner material is quite different, and this change has made some error types much more likely, including plating, bubbles, peeling, and off-color surfaces. So what makes the 1994D penny special and potentially valuable? The answer lies in both condition and errors. Ordinary worn 1994D pennies that you find in change are usually worth only face value, a single cent. In uncirculated condition, meaning coins that have never been used and still shine with their original mint luster, the value can rise to a few dollars. For example, a bright red uncirculated 1994D in mint state condition MS65 could fetch anywhere between $5 and $15 depending on the buyer, but that is only the beginning. When we talk about truly rare and collectible examples, we must look at coins graded extremely high by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. A 1994 penny graded MS-68 red, which is near perfection, has sold for impressive sums at auction. These coins are not just cents, they are pieces of numismatic art that represent the finest survivors their mintage. One such coin has been recorded selling for several $100s, with some reported values exceeding $500 in the right market, and then we come to the error coins, the real stars of the show. The 1994 Lincoln penny is known for several types of minting errors. There are double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled because of a misalignment in the die hubbing process. There are off-center strikes, where the design is not centered and part of the blank planchet remains exposed. There are broad strikes, die cracks, cut breaks, and even missing plating errors where the zinc core peeks through the thin copper shell. Each of these error varieties can multiply the value of the coin dramatically. Collectors especially prize the dramatic errors. For example, a 1994 penny with a strong double die obverse can bring in hundreds of dollars depending on grade and visibility. An off-center strike of 50% or more with a clear date and mint mark can be valued at over $1,000. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that left the mint with such a dramatic mistake that it instantly became a rare collectible. That is the excitement of coin collecting and why so many people chase these treasures. Now let's move to the market value today. Currently the average circulated 1994 penny is still worth 1 cent. An uncirculated MS-65 red might bring you around $10 to $20. If you manage to find a top-grade MS-68, the value could soar into the hundreds. But when we consider rare errors and varieties, the sky truly is the limit. Some auction records have reached extraordinary levels. One particular error penny from 1994 shocked collectors by being valued at more than $779,345, a figure that proves just how wild the coin market can become when rarity, condition, and collector demand collide. The lesson here is that not every coin in your change jar is just spare metal. Some of them are hidden gems waiting to be discovered. That 1994 penny you thought was ordinary could in fact be a missing link in someone's collection, or even a financial surprise that makes you rethink pocket change forever. Before we close, let me give you some tips. If you want to check your coins for potential value, always start by looking for the mint mark and the date. Use a magnifying glass to inspect details like doubling, die cracks, and any unusual surface features. Keep your coins safe, avoid cleaning them since that can reduce value, and if you think you have a rare variety, consider sending it to a grading service for authentication. The world of coin collecting is not just about money, it is about history, art, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story, from the people it honors to the hands it has passed through. The 1994 Lincoln penny may be small, but its story is huge, spanning the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the artistry of American engraving, and the endless fascination collectors find in tiny details. So next time you see a penny lying on the ground or rattling in your drawer, do not overlook it. You never know if you might be holding a piece of history worth far more than a cent. This is JF Coin, your trusted channel for coin knowledge, values, and amazing stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1994 Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because the next coin we cover might be the treasure hiding in your very own pocket. Thank you for watching JF Coin.